Something is happening. Ha! I believe it is working. Alright.
Jess is just coming downstairs now. She'll be here in like 30 seconds.
Hey folks, I'm here.
Hello.
Alright, 1 minute.
Yeah, the welcome screen looks good.
I think so. Alright, everybody ready?
Yep.
Cool. Here goes nothing, I guess. And we are live. First question. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully that includes a potential audience. Oh, goody. Welcome back to Forbidden Lands, Session 3 of Raven's Purge campaign. We sadly missed out on last session, but that happens. Before we dive into the story and everything, I have an announcement to make, and that is that all sub-proceeds and bit donations this week will be going towards Gehenna Gaming's friends Bran and Danny's vet bills for their dog's recovery. Our thoughts are with them, and we hope for the best possible resolution of their situation, of course. And yeah, that's the announcement for this week, really. So, without further ado, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Mikael Hellström, and I'm your friendly GM for tonight. And in screen order from left to right, we have Joshua, Jess, Jeremy, and Chris. Chris and me, we're kind of breaking the pattern by not having a J first as our first name. Sorry.
Well, we can always change that.
Exactly. And a shout out to Hellhag Productions, who have done overlays and most of the maps. Obviously not the maps that comes with Raven's Purge and so on, but there are plenty of other map work that has to be done to fill in some blanks. And when needed, she has done that. Also tokens and such like. So all sorts of graphic design. Thank you. And with that, let's jump into the adventure, shall we? When we last met, I'm not going to say our heroes, because we don't know if you're heroic or so yet. We'll find out soon enough, right? You had spent a day sort of cruising around in Fort Riverstone, which is shown on this map, and getting the lay of the land. You sold some of the loot that you had from the slavers. You met some people, talked to some people, including Green Walker and the dwarves, who are camped outside in that little camp that you can see on the map, and discovered that they have been plagued by goblins who've been raiding their encampment and grabbing stuff. And try as you might, Frida, you didn't manage to catch them. You did see their...
The tricksy goblins.
Say again?
Tricksy goblins.
I couldn't quite hear that.
I said stupid tricksy goblins.
Yes, indeed. And also naked and blue. That was a thing. And they made away with one of the dwarves' very valued cutlery, apparently. Thulman is cranky. So you have basically decided to try and retrieve these treasures from the goblins, give them back to the dwarves, and went out into the forest to basically the place where the party marker is right now. And there you had to fight a brief fight with 3 goblin scouts that you sent packing. And that's where we ended last session. Now, Fidan was not there because he had a very troubling stomach, apparently. That was our rationale. So,
sometimes dwarves have upset tummies.
Apparently. Well, that particular so-called tavern, which is just a barn, really, might not always have the best food service. So that's a thing. But you recovered, so let's backtrack a bit while your intrepid friends are braving the wilderness. I'm going to connect you back to them, as it were. Having recovered, you would hear about where your friends are going. So, they've been staying at the dwarf camp, the camp just north of the fort. So I'm going to simply railroad you here a bit, if you don't mind. and
Fine.
have you sort of go to the dwarf camp and try to link up with them. As you do that, you will notice that there's a person that's coming with at a bit of a distance. At first, fairly tall, dressed in mostly rags, including a rag across his mouth. Or her, you can't really make out from this distance. Very muscular, though. Broad shoulders. Softly walking behind you as you move towards the dwarven encampment. And the dwarves there, to give you a description, it's a very nice camp. I can show you the map that we have for it. There we go. Very well ordered, neatly done. Some horses and mules. And there will be a group of dwarves around the fire when you get there. Some of them are armored. Mail helmets. Others are dressed in, I wouldn't say finery as such, but definitely travel clothes for people of better means.
Okay.
Cloaks, nice boots. It's not ornamental, not a thing that you would go to dress with for a great festival, but certainly the materials are of high quality and sturdy for a good long journey. Well, except one of them, who has more ornamentals on him than the others. These three dwarves, they are... sorry. Merble and Thulman and Brodgar the Brazen. And one of them is slightly more Whitebeard than the others. You could say it goes in three age stages by the looks of them. The most senior, and then you have someone who's more middle-aged, and then a younger dwarf who does a lot of the talking. The middle-aged one, who's Thulman, is constantly whining and complaining about having to have his meals on tawdry wooden plates and goblets, and complaining a lot about all the bugs that are sort of whizzing around. The young one comes up to you and bows deeply. Sir, you wouldn't happen to be Phaedon, by the way?
Why, yes, I would. Seems that my name, my prestige has preceded me. I say kind of jokingly.
But of course. Your friends were just here. They spoke of you. We understood that you ate something that didn't quite agree with you.
Yes, the tavern is not exactly the highest of standards, as I'm sure you can appreciate.
Indeed. You will hear that middle-aged dwarf just nodding his really fervent agreement at this. Going, nothing around here is what you would like it to be. I'm not at all surprised.
Now, is it, by looking at them, I mean, do I have a rough guess of where they would be coming from, like what clan, or where they would be from, or?
That's an excellent question. I would think so. If nothing else, by their accents, in fact. So, hold on a moment, and I'll look it up for you. There we go. They are Meromanians.
Okay.
So you would know them as more abrasive than your own clan. Certainly more hostile towards humans, generally speaking.
Okay.
You would know that they, once long ago, they held city and a fort south of here called Whaler's Hold, and the Alderlander humans overran it again centuries ago. This was before the Blood Mists, and they've never quite forgiven any humans for that, really.
Okay. And the person that was coming behind me, are they closer now, or?
That person keeps their distance.
Okay.
Seemingly doesn't want to get entangled with the dwarf camp necessarily.
Okay. So I assume, so this is Mybel, the one I'm speaking with, or?
No, this would be Brodgar the Brazen.
Brodgar.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is
Okay.
A Burgundian dwarf.
Okay.
So it's a different clan.
Oh. So I asked him. So obviously my compatriots have come this way, and I'm anxious to get connected with them as much as it would be great to connect with with kin. But do you know which way that they have gone?
Yes, indeed. I was about to tell you. In fact, they stayed the night here, you see, and tried to help us guarding. We've had problems with goblins.
Oh, nasty creatures.
Indeed, I agree. He strokes his slightly reddish beard. Yes, most troublesome. On top of everything else, we've had the troubles with the human lady here who charges us exuberant taxes. But that's not as important right now. The important part is your companions have very generously offered to bring our lost goods back.
Oh, excellent!
One of our finest warriors is with them now, and they headed north towards the forest, the dank forest. Yes. Quite brave, I have to say. We're very, very happy with that.
Well, they're excellent folk. They're almost like family. They're very good people, if you can call them people. People and wolves.
they are all, I'm sure, in their own way.
Oh yeah. So is there a so I mean, is this a place that I can easily find and trek off to find them at, or what sort of quest were they on?
Well, I have not explored that part of this world myself, of course, but you have hardly missed them. They just left less than an hour ago.
Oh, okay. So I would have a good chance of catching up to them.
Yes, indeed. I think so.
Especially on my own, yes.
I would hope so.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's what I shall take my leave of you then, and go to find my companions. Perhaps I can also be of assistance to them in their quest to retrieve your lost goods.
Us dwarves have to stick together, don't you think? It would be excellent for us to have dwarven eyes and ears there, in addition to our own warrior.
Oh yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think it'd be great, to and of course we could reminisce and share a common bond. So absolutely, I'll head off that way to find them.
Very good, very good. Godspeed to you. Huge be with you.
Okay, thank you, and with you. So now, one of the things is, as I'm going to head off in the general direction that he's pointed, but I'm going to, of course, keep an eye. Does the person who's following me, does he or she start, looping around now that I've left, or?
Well, as you keep trucking north towards the forest, it's going to be a little while before you actually reach the edge of it. But sure enough, there that person is again. And now that you've left the dwarven encampment, this person is kind of waving towards you a little bit.
Okay.
trying
So
to
I
catch your attention.
pause. I pause and wait.
Yeah, they'll come closer and closer. Very cautious, moving very cautiously all the time, sort of watching out. What you can see, in as much as you can see the skin at all, because these very ragged clothes and a bit of a cloak that are covering almost everything. It's almost chalk white, but potentially red eyes. You're not sure from this distance, or is that green? It's hard to tell.
Okay.
But it might just be a trick of the sun too. But this person is coming closer and closer, and then stopping at a safe distance, say 3 or 4 meters out, and just raising. You would think it's a man by now. His hand. Huh? I can help you find your friends if you help me find mine.
Well, I'm quite sure that I know where my friends are. How is it that you would know where they are?
Oh, I had a look around last night, you see.
And who might you be, good sir?
I'm Ochro.
And how is it that you can find my friends and you can't find your own?
Oh, I know where mine are. The hard part is to get to them.
Oh, you'll have to explain that a little to me. Perhaps even as we walk towards my friends, you can explain to me what it is you need?
I can, yes. You'll notice that this person is struggling a little bit with articulating certain sounds.
Okay.
Almost like there's something in his mouth.
Okay.
You can't see the mouth, though, because there's too much cloth over that part of the face.
I tried to, get closer without getting, without trying to be obvious that I'm just, launching and walking closer.
Yeah.
Just try to, close the distance a little bit to see what this person's up about, what they're all about.
Yeah, Ochro doesn't seem to have any weapons. If there's any weapons on Ochro, it might be something smallish like a dagger or something hidden under some folds, but it's definitely not like a longsword or anything like that. You would have seen that by now. So he starts kind of making his way forward, and every once in a while bends over. Ah, yes, this is where they went. And there's some tracking skill, this one.
So, well, I mean, I'm happy for you to give me some assistance, but I'm curious, what did you mean by it's going to be difficult to find your friends?
They're under lock and key.
So they've been captured by the guard, or have they been kidnapped?
No, captured, as you say.
So did they do something that made the guards angry with them?
Oh, yes.
And what would that be?
We heard that there's this treasure here.
Okay.
And we wanted to take it. I was the only one who got away.
Were you trying to take treasure perhaps from someone who didn't want that treasure to be taken from them?
Yes. Well, you have to understand, it's an evil book we're looking for.
I mean, but if you take things from other people, that generally gets the attention of the guards. But an evil book that somebody had that you needed to get, why did you need to get this evil book?
Because it's evil.
And what were you going to do with it?
I don't know. That's the others who know that.
Oh, I see. Well, as I say, I mean, I'm always up for some company. I mean, you're more than welcome to come with me and and show me how to get to my friends. I can't promise I can get your friends, but I'd be happy to discuss what's going on. It seems like you might need to, get someone who can legally get them out. I mean, what's going to happen to them?
I heard what you did with the slavers, so I think you're good folks.
Well, okay. Well, we'll. But if they did something, I mean, who are they taking the book from?
Well, they went into the keep.
The keep just over. The keep that is just hard by.
Aye.
Okay.
The tower.
And so inside the tower is the evil book.
That's what we think.
Okay.
Didn't find it though.
And now we need to get them, because of course they've been captured by the guards for breaking into the tower.
Aye.
Okay, well, I can't promise I can get them out for doing something, because it sounds kind of illegal. It sounds like they probably did something that was illegal and got caught at it.
I have to try somehow.
Well, I'll tell you what, but I know some people there. We can certainly put in a good word and talk to them and find out a little bit more about it. Perhaps they'd be interested in finding out what they were doing, and that you probably meant no malice. So, I mean, I'd happy to talk to them.
Well,
and see what I could do.
That would be very kind. And it's kind of weird to see how he's trying to prostrate himself in front of someone who's so much shorter than he is.
So you don't have to do that. You don't have you don't have to prostrate yourself. You don't have to bow. It's okay.
He's not quite as tall as Frida, because Frida is really, really tall. But certainly, yeah, large.
And now that he's closer, I mean, can I make out any more interesting features about him? Have I seen his kind before? His kin?
I would think you have, just based on your let's see now, your intelligence and lore, etc. I'll bring us back to the other map again.
Okay.
There we go. Because you do have a pretty you have some lore, you have some wits. Yeah, make a roll for it.
Okay, so he you said he's from where?
No, did you make a roll?
Oh, sorry. Did I make a roll for? I'm sorry.
Lore.
For which one?
Lore.
Oh, lore. Oh, sorry. Yep. Okay, I'll do that here now. There you go.
Yeah, that's a success. Just judging by physiognomy, the size of this person, the, shall we say, slightly unusual skin tone, and the speech impediment, and the fact that he has trying to cover up his mouth, you would guess at an orc.
Oh, okay.
They are known to have really large tusks, almost like boars, that make it hard for them to enunciate words the way humans or dwarves or elves would.
Okay. Okuran, again, you're welcome to come with me if you can get me to my party. I'm again happy to put in a good word. Where are your people from?
Oh, we're like you, I think. We different people from different parts of these forbidden lands who travel together.
Okay. And are all the people who are with you your party mates? Are they family? Are they kin? Are they also possibly orcs?
Kind of starts a little bit and looks at you. No, only me, orc.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, if you'll help me get to my party, and perhaps then if we get back and accomplish our quest safely, I'd be happy to put in a good word and see what I can find out about the people in the keep. I'm always interested in meeting and chatting with fellow travelers.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you don't have to keep bowing.
And so it is that you, with the help of Ochro, navigate through the forest, because unlike you, Ochro has some survival skill. And can help you track down your friends.
Okay.
And so, we return to the little glen, if you will, or wooded area where the battle has just been. And, well, you're all basically okay from that little kerfuffle. Hamda, she got her noggin wrung a bit by that sling stone from one of the goblins, but is otherwise fine. And they ran away up north towards the hill that is right in front of you.
I believe last time, correct me if I'm wrong, before they took off, I marked one of them for tracking, didn't I?
You did indeed, so you can just keep that up. And it's almost easier now, because at least one of them is bleeding.
Yeah, I've
leaving a
basically
blood trail behind, so it's not a problem at all. In fact, as you start moving, you can hear them up ahead of you, just crashing through the undergrowth, and they're moving very fast towards. It's really like a cleft between two hills. The hills themselves are not terribly tall necessarily, but given the sharp escarpment, that it's like one of those heavy axe blows, like as if a giant would have cut that through the countryside. It's gonna be steep to climb if you try, and it's really shaded and shadowy. The sun will have a hard time reaching this particular little dell. There's a stream coming out of it as well, and they're just legging it towards that cleft through the undergrowth and bushes. There's been traffic back and forth to this place, judging by the small trail leading up to it, but not. This is not a road that horses or carts could come by necessarily.
If I can easily tell where they're going at this point, I will just take my time and basically become a pursuit predator.
Right. Yep, that makes sense.
Come on, let's go.
And I will just walk with purpose, but not like run after them, because I know where they're going at this point. It's not about the chase. It's about I'm going to get there and I'm going to kill them.
Yep, Green Walker is sticking very close to Brennar, and Hamda is sticking close to Frida. That seems like the logical place. And Hamda, of course, her axe and shield at the ready in case of an ambush, though her helmet obscures her vision a bit, so she will not be able to see nearly as well as you can. But she's trying to keep pace with you, moving those much shorter legs than yours at pace. So she's going at a half run when you're just walking fast. And that is basically where Fidan and Ochra you're coming up to this little clearing, and you can see the traces of a fight. Ochra spots, the traces of blood, and there might even be a broken spear lying on the ground. You should be able to hear them moving through the undergrowth ahead, not too far away. No dead bodies here, though.
Okay. I I call out, hey friends, it is I, Frieden. I'm here to, I'm back. I'm feeling okay now. I'm not throwing up anymore.
Your stomach's all better now?
It's doing okay, but what happened here?
Next time you'll eat my cooking instead of theirs.
Probably.
I'm not sure if Brenner and Greenwalker are at the rear, or where's Marita in all this?
She's probably in the middle, kind of begrudgingly keeping pace when she really does want to just run ahead.
Fair enough. Yeah, so I guess Brenner and Greenwalker are in the rear.
Yep.
You'd be the first spot, Fidan and Okro, coming through the bushes behind you and shouting towards you. Fidan will be able to see. It's not terribly dense forest here, so it's not like the densest New Brunswick forest that we have around here, where you can't see very far. It's still fairly open undergrowth and terrain. I mean, obviously, you're not going to shoot a bow for very, very far away, but it's at least a good enough line of sight that you'll be able to see each other.
Okay.
And Fidan, you will notice that next to Brennar is someone walking that you haven't seen before necessarily. Slender like Brennar, and dressed in green robes and a green cloak, which is right now hood up.
And so, of course, I call it. I say, "But good friends, I have with me Okro, who has actually helped me find you. Through these dense forests. He's much better at this than I am. So don't be alarmed. There's someone with me. But who is that with you? I've been told there'd be a dwarf with you.
Oh, this gentleman right here. He's Greenwalker. He's actually looking for something. So we met him actually back in town around the time you got sick. So figured he'd come along for the adventure, right, Greenwalker? Brenner gives him a nice little pat on the back.
You will now see that he is really wide-eyed, this Greenwalker person, and really a babe in the woods. The whole visage of his sense of wonder and a lot of fright as well. And yes, Master Brenner is that there's so much to learn. Yes. You can do another. I'm going to give you another lore check for to identify his background if you want, Fidan.
Cool.
Yeah, he doesn't get out much.
Until now.
There we go. Oh.
Yeah, hard to
A lot
tell.
of people
You
find him.
can't quite place him, but I mean, just
Okay.
physiognomy, probably half elf like Brennar, but that's as far as it goes for you.
Okay. And
So who's your friend? Orko, you said?
Okro. Yes, he's he and his band came into some trouble. They're looking for apparently an evil book that was in the keep, and his party went to find it and ran afoul of the keep guards, and now they're in prison. He would like us possibly to put in a good word for them, or at least see what's going on, do a little bit of research and find out more about this evil book. And so I told him that if, in exchange for helping me get to you, that I would do some research for him and find out what's going on.
Hey,
No
Brenner,
promises.
did your elf friend say something about an evil book too?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, it seems to be maybe all related. And actually, I think he was outside of our tavern that we were at. Orko,
Okro
didn't one of us...
bowing and sort of prostrating himself again. He looks a bit embarrassed about the whole thing, and yes, I was.
Nice to have you aboard. Well, more the merrier, I guess.
I'll help as best as I can. Green Walker is looking at Ochro, and there's like a bit of a glow in his eyes as he hears this mention of the evil book. See? The word has spread, he says.
Yeah, it seems like there's multiple people that want this evil book.
Indeed.
So legends do have it. It is around these parts.
It does.
And
Yes.
what is this evil book supposed to be? What does it do? What does it do? Why do we need to get it? Do we need to destroy it? Are we trying? What are you looking for?
If
Tell me
the
some more.
government is denying its existence, but they've seen it or continue trying to get it, could it be possible that the government's been corrupted by it? I mean, lots of people are saying that they haven't been acting like themselves lately, that our dwarven friends included.
That's definitely a possibility. I mean, if the government has been like overtaxing people, then goods aren't going to flow, so people are going to suffer in a roundabout way.
The Green Walker looks a bit shocked. But she's a Raven sister. They don't lie.
Sweetie, everybody lies.
They're not supposed to lie.
Does are two different things.
It's okay. We'll get to the end of this and figure out really what's going on.
It seems like we have something more pressing going on here based on the carnage that seems to have happened in the area.
They ran that way.
I don't know if you can call it carnage.
Well, there was some blood.
I have seen carnage. This is not carnage.
But I'm happy to, basically if Frida says they've gone that way, I'm happy to follow her that way. I'm not standing alone out here in the woods. So.
You see, Hamda, the dwarven warrior, she's kind of just banging her axe on her shield and, let's go.
See, let's go.
Yep.
We can walk and talk.
Yep.
Exactly.
While we walk along, now that Fidan is here, I will kind of absently clean the goblin blood off the end of my staff from where I beat the goblin up.
Yep. So you proceed towards this cleft between the two hills, and you can see the stream coming out, and even as you're walking towards it, it gets chillier. It's like a wave of cold air that's coming out of this landscape, and it wasn't even terribly warm before. It's an early spring day, and I mean it would be slightly north of 10 by now, but walking into this cold air, it's like taking almost a step back into late winter or late fall or something like that. And you keep pressing on, and it's Frida and Hamda in the front. Where would Fidan be in this group?
I usually like to be fairly close if there's something kind of some actiony stuff going on to Frida. But I'll be back a little bit. I'm actually trying to size up Green Walker and Hamda as well. I'm just kind of getting the lay of the land with him. So probably somewhere in the middle.
Fair enough. Yeah, Green Walker sticks to the rear with Brennar for sure.
Okay.
And Ochro by now will stick close to Fidan. Actually, it seems like each of these newcomers have found someone in your group to attach themselves to in some way. But yeah, you're coming in towards the actual cleft now. It's getting darker because the sun is obscured, so you're in the shade. And sure enough, you can still see the tracks fairly easily. You don't even have to know your survival skills for this. They just lead, because it gets a bit muddy on the path as well from the moist from the stream. Yeah, Rita?
Frida, can you tell how many sets of tracks there might be? Like how many goblins there might be in that place?
Looking at the mud, can I make a judge of how many individual tracks there would be, or can I like smell individual smells or anything like that?
Not really. No, it would be get too muddled up for that. I think you can make a survival check, but then that's a survival check. So
I will try it.
So, like, more than 2.
exactly.
So that's my survival check?
Yeah, that works. Well,
Okay.
all 3 of the ones that you were trailing are, those are fresh scents.
Yeah.
And then there are older scents. So not 12 hours ago, there must have been a group of maybe half a dozen coming through here. Or
Okay.
between 3 and half a dozen.
Okay, so
but
there's,
those are older,
there's somewhere
older
between
scents.
3 and 6.
Yeah, but there's probably more of them inside. Just not that recent traffic, judging by tracks and scents as they get progressively older.
Okay. So there's at least half a dozen, maybe more.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're moving up there, and you can even spot that there is, I don't know, should we call it a door? It's someone has cobbled together a whole bunch of wood, maybe, younger tree trunks, and smashed them together with nails and crude ropes to make some kind of barricade that kind of looks like a door, and maybe functions as a door, barring the way into the actual hill. It's small, goblin-sized.
Like, is it locked, or could I just, like, pick it up and move it?
You can try to pick it up, and that I'm going to call for a might roll, because when you're trying to open it, it's stuck in some kind of fashion.
Okay.
Yeah. I anticipated something like that from
Yeah.
this very
Rita
tall...
kind of, like, crumbles the door in her hands.
Yeah, exactly. Just pulls it out, basically. That's what you do. And it comes off at hinges. It's not that hard for someone of your size to get it off. And with that crack,
Whoops.
you can now feel that very moist, although almost moldy smell from inside. And you hear shouts and screams also, as they obviously did not want that to happen.
I imagine the strength of that smell might make Frida gag a little bit.
Maybe.
With her heightened...
Overwhelming
senses.
the nose there, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same moment as you do this, you hear from up top of the hill, kind of above, behind you, "What ho!" That was distinctly not a goblin voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll turn around and look.
Ochre is
Yeah.
immediately
Okay.
sort of seeking the closest protection he can find. Green Walker is also startling, but more like deer in headlights kind of a way. Above you stands 2 elves. One is dressed in, I should say, ranger garb, very green, tunic, green and brown, tunic, cloak, hoses, armed with a bow, but not with an arrow on the string. The other one is a bit stranger to you. I'm not going to say, from this distance, is that... I'm going to say they. Very androgynous in appearance. And dressed in leaves, or maybe the clinging leaves are just clinging to them.
Oh, this is not more goblins.
No, it's not more goblins.
but the one who is dressed in these is still an elf, just more of an androgynous elf.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Carrying a
the
weapon?
man, because he is a man, the hunter, the ranger dressed elf, has shoulder length blondish green hair, and looking down towards you from that hill. Very typical elven features otherwise, but the other one, no hair at all, and dressed in living plants, or living plants are sort of snaking across the body as needed.
Well, that's new.
What is your business here? Says the man.
Your goblin friends have stolen things. They're thieves. We're retrieving what's ours.
He sighs a bit. I see. Those are the goblin ways, are they not?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You are intruding on their lands.
There's an encampment outside the woods, not in the woods.
We have traditionally seen all these lands as theirs to use for now.
Okay, and what's your point?
My point is that they are our friends, and we do not wish to see them harmed, and you're breaking down their door, and that alarms us.
Well, I think the door was going to fall down of its own accord.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. I don't know my own strength.
So, we just want to recover what the goblins stole from the dwarves. We're not here to deliberately hurt anybody.
That is good. Let's keep it that way. Yes, some sort of negotiation, perhaps.
Yeah,
The
tell them to
negotiation
give them
could-
back their stuff. Stop raiding the dwarven camp, and we can leave.
They have strange ways, goblins, says the elf.
We give back what they stole, then we can be on our way.
I'm not sure how you will be able to convince them to do so, but maybe I could talk to their elder. And maybe the elder can discuss it with you.
Well, that's definitely preferable to violence. But Marita will look very skeptical at that.
Yeah, and you will
Rita
notice
also
that this...
mumbles something about, I'm pretty sure I can convince them.
and hummed at this point, dank, dank, those were our things. We want them back. Bang. The elf is looking a bit... So the androgynous elf is not making much of any types of emotional expressions in their face at all. It's just... They're just looking at you and maybe measuring you? You're not sure? It's clear that it's the male hunter who's doing the talking for the two of them. And... yeah, I guess if you want to do an insight roll on his state of mind as he's looking you over, you can do that.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. So, yeah, Marita and Fidan will both notice that this elf has very conflicting feelings about Marita in particular. And also about the Wolfkin.
Lot.
Hmm?
Maybe he just doesn't like humans and wolves.
Nobody likes wolves.
I do. I think you're fine.
You're probably the only human that actually likes me, and it's because I cook for you.
Well, yeah, and you protect us.
I'll see
So
what
I
I can do, all the same.
Oh, okay.
Says
If you
the
could,
elf.
that'd be great.
He will start climbing down from that hill and sort of put the bow back, slinged across the back, in a clear gesture that, you know, he doesn't want any trouble right now. He's armed with a dagger and a longsword, and just by the movement of how he moves, he knows how to use them. Frida will notice this. I'll speak to them and we'll see what
Gently
comes.
put the door down next to the entryway.
Exactly. Yeah, there's another shriek from inside when your shadow is kind of looming across the mouth of the cave opening, the tunnel opening. The elf kind of kneels a bit and says, "It is me, Nidmir. I'm coming in." They seem to be calmer now, and the elf goes in there. It's going to take a few moments, of course, doing some talking. Meanwhile, the other elf is still standing there and looking over you.
Is it possible to do a lore check to try and determine more about the elf in question?
For sure. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yes. Indeed. You have heard, of course, of how Elven and Elven Spring druids are sometimes very powerful. You would think that this person probably is a very well-trained druid focusing on the path of shifting shapes, given that command over plants.
Okay.
Could be very old. But, of course, with elves, it's impossible to tell how old.
Yep.
Huh.
They speak
So I think-
finally. Looking towards Marita and Green Walker. Druids, I believe.
Yes.
Green Walker is very wide-eyed and just nods. Oh, wise one, yes, I am. They nod. It is good to see that humans pay their respects to the lands still. I have not been to human lands in quite a while.
Me neither. But yes, where I'm from, there are those that still teach people the proper ways.
I am very pleased to hear that. the blood mists covered the land so long that it was hard to know how humans would behave when they left.
Well, you know, people are still people. There's some good, there's some not so good.
That is true of all kin, I believe.
Seems to be the way.
It does. Yeah, so the hunter comes back out. I've talked to them. Perhaps one or maybe two of you might accompany me inside to speak to their elder. Perhaps not. And Needmere now looks
Not
towards.
Me. Not me. It's okay. You can say it.
Well, actually, both the Wolfkin and Hamda the dwarf, because your weapons and so on. You're armed to the teeth, both of you. In one case, literally.
Teeth and claws.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'd be happy to go on in.
I was going to say, I vote for Beanin and possibly maybe Bernard.
Okay.
Yep.
Needmere is looking towards the two of you, and very well. Follow me then. So you go inside.
Bye-bye, we'll miss you.
Have fun storming the castle? No.
Me.
Remember to scream twice if there's trouble.
Yeah, so you go inside, and it doesn't take very long for the tunnel to bend right. And there's a small barricade just around the corner where a couple of goblins with spears, and it's very dark in here, so you'll have to bring some kind of light for you to see.
Does there happen to be a torch handy, and or can I use?
Here you go, and I can pass you a torch.
Yeah. So the goblins are sitting in there. They have shields and spears, and there's even someone in there with a bow, a short bow, and it's not. They haven't knocked the arrow quite. Well, they have knocked the arrow, just haven't pulled back the string. But you know they're watching you carefully, and their eyes are gleaming a bit in the torchlight. They don't like that light too much. But you get an escort as you're moving further inside. It's cramped in here for you because, of course, they've made this tunnel goblin size. You have to bit hunched over. There are all sorts of smells around here. Some maybe less savory than others. But as you move through this tunnel, it's fairly straight. You get to a place where cutting right through the hill, basically, is an underground stream. It's basically like a crack that goes right across your path, and the goblins have made some kind of makeshift wooden bridge across it. And there, together with more goblins, and there is sitting on... Is it a throne? It looks like, from your point of view, someone has done a fairly decent work in terms of woodcraft out of an old tree stump that is tall enough for a goblin to sit on. And this is very clearly a woman, an old goblin woman, sitting on top of that tree stump with robes and all sorts of mystic paraphernalia on. She has bones as a necklace, some rings on her fingers, and she's sitting there with poking with her some bones that she has, old bird bones probably, that she has on a small makeshift table in front of her as well. And so she's looking at the two of you with her eyes as you come closer. She says. And one of the goblin guards sort of shakes the spear and says, "Behold Velatula, the wise and mighty!" She's sitting there and... Sit.
So I sit, but I do like a respectful bow and then sit. I'm like, thank you for taking us into your home so we can speak with you.
Yes, you come as invaders to this place, chased my guards, broke my door.
Well, we're sorry about the door, and as far as the guards go, we were. They had taken something, or some had taken some things that were of value to friends of ours, and we were trying to get it back. And we're not as familiar with your ways, so we're hoping that we can get these things back for them.
I think not. Why should we give back the sacred gifts of Eor?
The sacred gifts of Eor?
Lord check.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought it was cutlery. One sec. Oh. My mind shut down. I apologize, Josh. Give me 1 sec. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Silly question. I can only push if I got a skull, right?
No, you can push that roll, absolutely. The dice you couldn't re-roll would be skulls or swords, so you can definitely push that roll. That didn't work out.
Okay. And sorry, it was
your mind, and you can't place that name anywhere, and it infuriates you enormously. So you take 1 point of damage to your wits, and gain a willpower.
Excellent. That's what I was wanting.
However, can place the name. This must be the moon goddess Eor. You've heard of her. She is a goddess of mischief and mayhem, and may very well drive some practices that most dwarves would find completely unacceptable. But others might find completely fine, including things that are a good deal worse than theft.
Okay.
She is not a nice goddess at all.
And so they think that these artifacts are artifacts of this goddess. Or they're claiming that anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, could we see the artifacts that we're talking about, so at least we know that we're talking about the same thing? Because, of course, Fidon hasn't seen these things that were supposedly taken.
They were mere trinkets of the dwarves until our chosen ones sanctified them.
I see.
Under the light of the goddess's face.
Well, our friends would still like them back. They were theirs, and they were actually very important to them. I mean, they were. You may have sanctified them, but they had them. It was a very important artifacts to them as well.
What matter is that of ours?
Well, it would certainly not cause any more hardship
what daywalkers
I mean,
do.
they will keep.
It is not of our concern.
Well, but it would be your concern if they kept bringing people into it, though. If they brought others into the mix, if they, kept sending people out to test your guards and to try to find it. We're trying to broker a peaceful resolution. Is there something that we could do, something we could give you?
Something you could do.
I mean, I would really hate for my...
There might be. Yes. Eeyore has told us there is great evil in the fort.
And what's the evil that you speak of?
Things from beyond. We do
Is
not
it
go
something...
in. It is too dangerous.
Would it have something to do with a book?
Oh, a book, you say? I've heard the legend too, yes. Yes, that it might.
Well, my friend outside, he actually was trying to get it as well, and we've heard other things that it's possible in there. If we could take the artifacts back, I would go in and find this evil for you.
You
Smile.
want to first take the artifacts and then... Do you realize that this would be a sacred mission for Eeyore?
Yes.
Let's
Rainer's
have
looking around the room for a book.
Diplomacy roll, I think, here.
Maybe, what roll, sir?
Yes, so social conflicts. There we go. You are asking for something that is costing them, that is valuable. So that would give you a -1 on your social roll. They have more people on their side. So that's another -1. Do you have some reputation, do you?
Reputation.
So.
Trying to look for it.
As long as you're not young, you have 1, and if you're old, you got 2.
Yeah.
Where do I find the reputation?
That would be...
oh, right.
Yeah, exactly. So, smack dab in the middle there. So you have 1 reputation that gives you +1. So you have a net -1 on your manipulation roll. But lots of empathy. So there we go.
Maybe I'll try it out.
Yeah. She seems skeptical. You can push it.
I'm going to push it.
But remove that 1 white die with a skull, because that one you can't reroll.
Bear with me 1 second.
It's 4 whites and 2 red ones.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Now you have taken 2 points of damage to your empathy, but you did gain 2 points of willpower. Basically, this conversation, as you're bartering back and forth with her, is getting on your nerves, because you feel like she's being so unreasonable and so maybe stuck in her ways, not terribly willing to compromise at all. But you do have a bit of a golden tongue on you, don't you? And with those 2 successes, you managed to hide your frustration very skillfully, and in fact, convince her that you are trustworthy, a trustworthy dwarf of your word. And so, very well, I shall sanctify these items of ER. And she brings up a bell that she has next to her and just rattles it a bit. And immediately a couple of goblins run away into further into these tunnels. It's going to take a little while as you're waiting. But yes, they do come with a chest and a bag. You will notice that both the bag and the chest are painted now in some kind of heavy blue dye. And they put it down next to you, and before you leave on this sacred quest of Eors, kneel, both of you.
Okay, so I kneel.
Yep, so does Brainar.
She brings out from a pouch, and she starts jabbering in, I don't know, do goblins have their own language? Who knows? And then she traces her fingers over your foreheads like in a cross. And there's definitely... Whoop, where did Jeremy go? There he is. There's definitely something sticky on your forehead now.
I'm here.
You can feel it. There, with Eor's blessing, may it light your path in the dark. Vanquish the evil.
And I say very solemnly, we will undertake this quest and do this for you.
The holy warriors. And now you can see behind her that there are in fact 4 goblins standing, and they're standing at attention, if you will, with clubs in their hands, and they are naked and blue. The only thing they have on them is that blue ochre type of paint, body paint. And when she invokes the sacred warriors, they shake their clubs.
I try to look very solemn and...
With those 2 successes, you manage to maintain your visage completely. This is this is what you're born to do as a diplomat and a bard. Your silver tongue is just absolutely, yep, the exact right type of posture and reverence. And they escort you again out of the tunnels.
With the
loot,
no
yes.
Blue bag.
The loot's coming. And as you come back out again, you will be able to see your friends who are coming out together with... there will be a couple of goblins helping you with the chest behind you. And now, as they come out into the shade, you can see that Brennar and Fidan have this strange blue cross on their forehead.
Did you guys join a cult?
You could say we were blessed. So
Frida will be pacing anxiously, mumbling something about goblins tasting good with crushed tomatoes.
So now the goblin guards are still with us, or?
Yeah, they will drop off things, but when Frida is mumbling something about goblins being tasty with crushed tomatoes, they will move back into the tunnels very carefully, keeping their spears pointed in a particular direction.
Excellent.
I will spend the 1 willpower that I have for sense magic.
Ooh.
Oh, good idea.
Just in case there's anything magical going on with this cult that our 2 friends have joined.
thank you.
have someone put the curse on you. You'd have to roll 1 die, I believe. Because you're basically invoking a spell, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll see if it misfires or if it goes well.
So I still have to roll even though it's spendable power?
Yeah, that's you roll that willpower as a die to check if it's a misfire or if it is supercharged.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right, I remember now. It's been a while since I cast this spell.
Yeah.
Alright. Spells. Here we go. Oh, there we go. I rolled a 2.
Yeah, so you basically managed to invoke the spell and cast it without any problems. And there is in fact no magic involved here.
Okay.
Everything is completely mundane and benign. There's no trickery or hidden magic traps.
But, so I'll cast my spell, and then I'll get kind of wide-eyed. I'll go, oh. What did you guys do?
Well, we had to make a deal, to look for that evil book, possibly, and in order to get the stuff back, so we gave the dwarves. Why?
You didn't
Do we have to give the... Yeah, that.
What?
Did you promise to give them the book, or just get the book out of the hands of the people who have it?
It was kind of vague, actually.
My interpretation was we just had to go get it from the tower, and as long as the tower no longer has it, then we fulfilled our portion.
Right. We had to kind of deal with the
I don't think the goblins should have an evil book. That sounds like a really, really bad idea.
Right. I think they were more
curious about
concerned
this
that there
book
was
now.
Yeah. I think there was more that there was evil and that they wanted it taken care of.
Oh, okay. Well, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do.
We gotta take care of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you might want to take care of it sooner rather than later based off of the markings there.
Yeah. Does this come off?
Well, it actually does.
It looks like it might
get smudged
stain.
fingers when you do that.
Okay.
Okay, well, the good news is it doesn't seem to be magical. It doesn't seem like you've been, compelled to go do this thing. So really, there's nothing stopping us. So I'll take a look and make sure, are the goblins still here?
No, well, they're not too far away. They might be able to hear you, but they keep well out of
Let's
harm's
get out of these damn
way.
woods, and then we'll discuss how we're gonna get the book.
So I'll just kind of whisper and say, there's nothing stopping us from just taking this to the dwarves and then just leaving.
True.
Our
But
honor.
Yeah.
The two elves who are still here, basically, they feel like this has all concluded without bloodshed, so we're good. Very good. This seems to have been resolved well.
So regarding sense of honor, there is nothing stopping us from dropping off this chest and just leaving.
True. But it's interesting that we've had because we've had
Fourth.
Greenwalker and Okro, and yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what's up with this book and what it's doing to the local government.
I think we should investigate this to the point that I have it in my hand, because I'd love to be able to read that.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Terrible
I
idea.
think we should
Yeah.
move far, far away from where the evil book is. I hear the coast is nice.
There is that.
Wait, no, not the coast. Someplace not the coast. I mean, the coast is nice, but we don't need to go there.
It would depend on what part of the coast you would be with. I mean, Marita would know that it's only parts of the coast where, those people live.
Yeah, but I don't want to take a chance.
So if you're further north or further south, you'd be...
But it sounds like the three of you want to find the book, and I don't want to go traveling by myself, so...
We should certainly do just this, says Greenwalker. See? All the signs point toward it.
Yeah, that doesn't make it a good plan.
So, if I recap, we have to find the book, and then we also got to help out Orko.
Huh. Okro is nodding
That seems to
intensely.
be part of
Please.
finding the book, though.
Mm.
And
right.
remember too that his friends tried to get into the tower to get the book, and are now rotting in a jail cell.
But his friends are probably not as smart as we are.
Well,
And they don't have me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we also, I think, I think, like, say, if we get the book, that might take care of his friends, possibly. Because again, once we figure some other stuff out.
maybe.
I'm sure Hamda can easily lug some of those chests and gold back to the dwarf camp, and we might be able to get assistance from them.
It's true.
Well, let's take the chest back at any rate.
Right.
Agreed.
Pick up the chest, I'm assuming, without issue. I don't know how big it is.
Say again?
I said Frida will pick up the chest, I'm assuming, without issue. I
Yes,
don't know how large.
yes, you will. Yeah, that's not a problem. It's obviously a heavy item, but I don't think you're
Large
overloaded.
enough. Yeah.
You
I'll
have
carry that
plenty
back.
of
Well,
encumbrance
Come
to
to
spare, I
carry the
think.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a limit of 10, and you would be at 5. So yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, okay.
That sack, by the way, contains that cutlery that Thulman was complaining so much about. His nice goblets and plates, and I mean they are nice. It's silverware, so definitely valuable.
We scratch him up a little bit or make him a little dirty before we take him back.
Ooh, crazy idea. Why don't we take some of the blue paint and put it around the rim of the goblet?
I love it. Let's do it. It's all
Have
over the
found
bed
it that
anyway.
way.
Oh, by the goblin.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should be mean to the guy, but
He was a jerk.
some of the herbs that I picked up, we could rub those over the lip of the glass, and then it'll make Feedin's night after the tavern look like a wedding day.
As long as it doesn't kill him. I don't want to kill him, but
It shouldn't.
giving him a stomach ache would be hilarious.
Well, I don't know what his constitution is like, so it shouldn't kill him.
I'd really prefer it didn't.
I'm
But
gonna say weak. So
Okay. Well, we'll just go with the paint then, just to be safe.
yeah.
This is going to be a straightforward enough job to walk back again. Obviously, Hamda can take the sack with the cutlery. It's a dwarven possession, after all, and with the merchants. And Frida, you'll lug the chest over the shoulders, no problem. And Marita and Ochro might be leading the way. You don't have to roll this time because you're just going straight back from where you came. It's not a new hex. You've been in these parts before, and so you set out in the morning. So I'm gonna say that it's gonna be well past midday by the time you get back out of the forest and in towards Fort Riverstone. And your stomachs are probably growling a bit by this time. It's up to you when you want to, stop for a meal. If you want to stop at the edge of the forest, the elves will leave you alone, and they saw that the whole affair was concluded without bloodshed, and just let you go on your way and disappear into the forest from where they came.
I would probably say wait till we got back to the camp.
Yeah, I think the dwarves owe us a good meal.
At least.
They would, yes, they would. And in fact, as you come trudging back with their loot, the dwarves celebrate your arrival. Thulman actually looks happy for the first time you've ever seen him. Look, it's my things! And and Merble. And the iron bars as well. Yes, the ingots. Excellent. Excellent work. Excellent work. True dwarf friends, all of you. And Merble will have to grudgingly admit that even the human has been acting in a dwarf-friendly way.
You may have to keep that a little safer now.
There will be mutterings, but Bodgar the Brazen will just kind of try to avoid any mutterings too much and be on his absolutely best behavior, which is a very good behavior indeed. If the older brothers are not at all as savvy perhaps with diplomacy, then definitely Bodgar is. And he doesn't have a red carpet to roll out, but he does give you the treatment. Offers you his seat, perhaps to feed on first, because, dwarves and kinship. But certainly nice seats as well around the campfire to the rest of the group as well. Even Ochro is invited in without any real questions asked, because he's with you guys now. So clearly he's to be trusted. Though Ochro is very, very conscious of keeping that cloth over half of his face and not speaking too much, because he seems a bit hesitant to engage with these dwarves. But yes, they do treat you to a very nice meal, free of charge, so you have now eaten and had your drink of the day. And I will say that the dwarves, in fact, bring out some of their nicer mead to accompany the food. The food might not be as good as perhaps Frida might be able to make it, but it's passable. They're trying. And then, in the middle of the meal, as you're going through it, you hear a scream from Thulman's tent, as he obviously have opened the sack and found the goblet and kitchenware with the blue stuff on it. It's ruined! Ruined, I say! What have they done with it? And he comes out, and he's holding up his favorite silver goblet and the blue smudge. What is this? Poison? Well, ruined. I hate this place.
It's paint. The goblins spread blue paint all over their naked bodies. I mean, I don't know which body part touched your goblet.
He looks absolutely horrified.
I'm sure you can buff it right out. I mean, if you don't want it, I'll take it.
You always have goblins sanctify things.
he'll just step away from the entire bag at this point.
Well, if you don't want that, then we're happy to take it off your hands.
This was a hard choice for Thulman, definitely. He doesn't know how to handle this one.
I mean, surely you don't want it to taint all of your other goods.
No, that's right. That's right. I do not.
So, we're happy to take it and make sure that it's, we'll give it a loving home after it's all cleaned up. It will be well taken care of.
He's not so sure about that necessarily. he's torn. He's definitely torn. Do you want to do like a manipulation check on him?
I will do a manipulation check. I have no reputation though, because I'm young.
This is true.
So, are there any other modifiers?
I have to check if he has some reputation, because that might affect your chances downwards a bit. Hold on a second. There we go. Nope. Alright. I'll give him a 1. So that's a -1 for you.
Okay.
Apparently not today. Yeah, he's probably gonna try to keep them just because you want to have them.
Let my greed get the better of me.
We will. I'm sure our stone singers can do something about this, he says, and trudges off with the goods.
Oh well.
Good luck not thinking about goblin parts every time you drink from that goblet.
The goblin goblet. But at least that little adventure concluded without too much trouble. Only Hamda got hurt, and she will be fine tomorrow after some rest. She's kind of taking off her helmet when she's gotten back into camp now, and you can see that she has a bit of a sort of swelling underneath on her head where the stone buckled her helmet a bit, and she's going to have to work a little bit on fixing that helmet. It needs some crafting to straighten out that buckle.
Oh well. She'll walk it off.
She definitely will. Absolutely. No doubt about that. So
now
yeah, with that, what's the next step?
Well, apparently before Fadan and Brainer's heads explode, we need to steal an evil book from a temple. I mean,
Right.
don't worry, you guys will be fine.
Power.
Maybe.
So we should probably see if we can get a look at the tower.
If in the time that we've been here, have there been many people? Have we noticed even just kind of what the retinue is for the tower? Is there a lot of guards, or how many people seem to be wandering around?
Well, I mean, you've been wandering a while around, so I'm going to allow you have one of you do a scouting check and pick the person who's the best scout. To just sort of remember the layout, if you will.
My scouting is +2. What is everybody else's?
Not the skill, but I am very, very witty.
Mine's just a 3, no pluses.
Just a 3, no pluses.
Alright, so I got a 5 then.
We make the call.
I will push it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. You would put the guard contingent in this place to a couple of dozen, maybe? So 20-ish, perhaps between 20 and 30, depending on... you haven't seen all of them. You haven't really, been doing the stakeout thing where you're watching their patrol patterns, and maybe there's someone sent away on a mission somewhere, but just judging by how many guards you've seen manning the walls and manning the gates, and knowing that some of them are going to be on a break at any given time, that's a round figure that you would put it at. So it's not going to be an epic level fort with several hundred guards manning this place. You're in the outback now, and there's going to be 2, possibly 3 dozen guards at most in this place, keeping the trade lane open.
All right,
So,
and
go ahead.
can I remember, like, if I describe them to Frida, what I remember of how the guards were armed or armored, can she roughly estimate how skilled they might be?
Yeah, for sure. I'll allow that with the roll. So they're.
Would that roll be on my end?
No. Yeah, I'm just including the scout roll that was already made.
Okay.
So they're dressed. Their armor is leather armor, leather jerkins, fairly simply made. They have mostly spears and shields, very much like in Peddler's Rest.
Okay.
Though there are more of them here, obviously. Most of them for hand weapons would be axes rather than swords, because they probably can't afford terribly nice equipment. The officers, so sergeants, they would be wearing broadswords and shields and have chainmail and open helmets, whereas your typical line guard will have a leather cap on top of everything, but that's about it. So they're probably more skilled than the Peddler's Rest militia, but not by much.
Okay.
Add another skill point to them. So certainly fighting a whole lot of them at once is not going to be fun at all. But one-on-one, you should be able to... They have the reach with a spear, but you should be able to deal with a single guard in single combat fairly promptly.
We also have an in with the guards from bringing in those slave traders. They kind of do like us a little bit for that. So that might be a way to also get us into the tower. To maybe speak with the local government about possibly assisting them with their full dungeon. On that pretense, maybe.
Are you suggesting like we kill people in their cells?
No, I'm not saying we kill people in their cells. I'm saying we help them with their crime rate, or use that as a pretense to get a look around the tower to see where the book might be kept.
Alternatively, if we can get into the tower, we could go ahead and free Orko's group, and maybe they can help us along the way to continue going through the rest of the tower.
And actually, with Orko's group, I mean, does Orko? I mean, I asked him, does he even know where this book is? Were they going in blindly, or did they happen to actually have a plan?
We heard, well, the legend that we heard was that the book was in the tower. But, we didn't see it. And our, sorcerer could not feel it with magic. Said it must be hidden.
Did you search many rooms?
Oh, we made our way in during the night and through a back door, and I found it, and we managed to get up to the second floor and searched some rooms. But then we had to run.
How many floors is the tower?
3.
So...
What if this local leader just has a thing for flushing out thieves, and this whole book thing is a big-ass red herring?
I don't think so. I've heard of the legend myself, and based off everything that I know of the legend, and Rainer is trying to remember because he's a really old fellow, and I forgot to ask the DM at the time. Referring with the Balatula, the old goblin woman, was there happen to be any books laying out on the table with those like bird bones?
No, she didn't have books.
Okay. Yeah, so it actually references exactly everything that's nearby, and according to legend, it was actually with the goblins, but obviously the goblins is saying it's here, so.
Of course, obviously the goblins
many different
are aware
versions of the legends, clearly. I don't
but
know
that's the
anymore,
thing
says
with
Green
legends,
Walker, what parts of the legend might be true, except it seems that they're all in agreement that there is an evil book here.
Yes.
And with Okro, I asked him just now: do the people at the keep? Did they see you? Do they know who you are? Like, can he even go close to the keep anymore, or to the tower?
No, they didn't see me. I'm too quick for them. See.
We could easily sneak back through the same door you went in the first time.
I
Right.
might be able to.
Yeah, and I mean, if we release his friends, that might cause a distraction while we look for the book.
True.
But I want to do a distraction before we bring me. I'm not exactly sneaky.
Given the fact that we're on okay-ish terms with the guard, I can probably whip together some stuff that will like make them all sleepy tired, and then Frida can maybe make them a pie or something. We could maybe like reduce the number of guards that would be active.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And we know where the cells are in the tower?
I think
Brought
they're in the
slavers
basement.
Basement, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
because
we
remember
might be
when we
able
brought
to.
the slaves... Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
When we brought the slavers in, the guard at the tower described their dungeons as more really just a basement where they put people rather than actual cells.
I have not dared to go there. Of course.
I wonder if we might be able to tuck away into getting like a tour of the tower.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Like I said, if we offer to assist with their crime problem and try to get a look around that way.
You do have a smooth talker, at least one among you.
Yep, we could probably even, can say, hey, listen, we'd like to, if we could take a look around the tower and make sure that all, the defenses are good too. We've seen a lot of towers. Want to make sure that everything's up and up. A lot of goblins out there.
I've probably got more
Dwarven
muscle
engineering,
than
you
the
can't beat
guards.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if we get a little bit better idea of what the tower is like, then we can come up with a plan for actually sneaking in and searching it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so let's go with that. We can maybe Okro can kind of hang back a bit. I mean, we wouldn't have to expose him to it. We can go in, Jess said. We can go in and do hey, we'd like to talk to you, and we'll take a look around. Maybe we can offer some advice on how to help out with this. Give us a tour, see what's going on. Yeah, I like that idea. I say it's a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Maybe Marina can try and sense the evil, the magic.
Yeah, we can try to see if we can sense it, but I have a feeling we might need to get deeper in, because they said their sorcerer couldn't detect the evil book, but they only got to the second level.
Yep.
Right. Before you leave the dwarves behind, Bodgar will shake your hands intensely. Very happy with how this all turned out so far. Except of course Thulman is still griping about things. But that's what he does. But Bodgar will also tell you, Fidon. I don't know how long you've been away, but will you be coming to Stone Garden later this fall?
Oh, I'm never sure where the paths will take my feet, but I would possibly be doing that. Yeah.
Stone Garden, then, of course. I don't know if I've mentioned to Jeremy about Stone Garden. Have I mentioned that place to you?
Nope.
Okay.
But
Stone
I'm
Garden
playing
is,
with it.
in fact, basically the capital of Dwarvendom. I mean, yes, there are several different clans, but this is said to be sort of the origin place of dwarves. So it's sort of a holy site.
Okay.
And so you would be very familiar with it. And
is
he's
it kind of
saying
like a
that,
pilgrimage to go there?
Hmm?
Is it like a pilgrimage to go there, or?
Yeah, and he's saying that the festival for this year, the Veneration of the Earth, it's the most extraordinary event in years. Now, you being of the Canide clan, I mean, this is, it's entirely possible. Fidon must have been at Stone Garden at some place, because it's very much in Canide lands. Even if he doesn't live there himself, if that's not his home, it's certainly a place he must have been to at some point in his life. And the Veneration of the Earth Festival is the Christmas of dwarfs, if you will. It's the most sacred holiday, as you are paying your respects to Huge and to the Earth and your God-given task of steward as stewards of the Earth. So this festival, then, he says that everyone is talking about it. It's going to be grand this year, sir. Yes, I'm going to be there for sure.
If it's going to be grand, then there's no way I could miss it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I've even heard that the royal children of the Belderan clan are going to be there and discuss their father's succession. It could be a major event.
And dwarves know how to throw a party.
We do that, sir.
We do. Okay, well, I shan't be missing it this year, then.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Assuming, non-dwarves are allowed.
Well, to certain parts of the Stone Garden, yes, because there are so many diplomats coming and going, and people who want to court, the Canide clan, and so other kin definitely are welcome in some parts of Stone Garden, but not all of it, because some parts are off limits, and some parts are off limits. Yeah, if you take my meaning.
I love a good party.
Yep.
I hope so. I hope that I'll see you there. Now we have the whole summer before us before that happens for sure. But
I'm
it's
sure.
a fall festival because Earth fall.
Yes, I'll make sure that you'll find us. You can easily find us because of course we'll be traveling with the 8-foot wolf. So you'll see us there.
I believe that. Thank you again very much, all of you. And if you could talk to Lady Norinda in the keep and maybe get her to lower the taxes a bit, that would not go amiss either. I've tried to, but maybe we can help each other out with that as well.
That is our goal.
Indeed. Yeah, and so I suppose you part ways with the dwarfs this afternoon, and go back to the keep, Fort Riverstone. I'll move the token back to the fort. So there you are now. Yeah, you're basically making your way. It's a what is it? A 10-minute walk from the camp at most.
Yeah, that's not very long.
No, you'll see out from this angle when you're coming back towards the fort. You'll see some of those hills just to the west of the fort that have very beautifully painted round doors and with brass handles that are set into those hillsides, and a couple of halflings that are standing in their gardens and paying a lot of attention to making every little strand of that bush be in just the right shape with their shears, working hard on perfection, if you will, moving that planter just so that the leaves will shine with that green luster and capture all the sun's rays properly. Well, a couple of halflings out tilling the fields together with a whole bunch of human farmers who are out there and doing their work, tending to cows and getting the planting season ready, basically. You can feel that rich soil smell on the air as they're turning it up with their plows and getting ready for the new season, seasonal growth. And yeah, there will be the guards standing by the doors, the gates through the palisade. They will recognize you by now and just give you a nod as you come in.
I'll wave at them as we enter.
Same.
How was your? We heard the rumor that you were out chasing goblins.
Oh, Brainer actually wipes the rest of his blue paint off his forehead. Yeah, one of the little buggers got my head.
Well, did you at least skewer some of them?
Wish I had some tomatoes.
Mm.
Yeah, probably a dozen or so of them.
Yep.
Lousy thieves. Well, that'll teach them.
That's right. Thieves deserve whatever comes to them.
Exactly. That's what I say. Speaking of which, you're just coming right on time. If you go to the temple now, the Raven Sister will deal with one of the thieves with Lady Norinda. Yes. Excellent time.
When you
I'd
say,
love to see that.
when you say deal with a thief, what do you mean exactly?
Meet that proper punishment, of course.
Which is, like, do thieves get like a stern talking to and some time in jail, or do they get like their hands cut off?
Oh, I think it's going to be a bit more aggravating than that this time.
This time.
Oh.
What did the thief steal?
Oh, they tried to steal something really important. That's what I know. Sneaking into the keep. Okro looks screamingly uncomfortable, but is very good at hiding it.
So somebody snuck into the keep to try to steal something valuable, and now they're about to get their what's for.
Exactly.
Oh, I am very interested in what this punishment might potentially be.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, let's go. Before we miss it.
Great, so yeah, it's a very short walk to come across the muddy courtyards of Fort Riverstone, and you get into the temple of the Raven Sisters is sitting there next, sort of on the backside of you will notice that when you're coming in from this particular gate, it's not the first house that you will see, though you can see the roof of it from if you look above the so-called tavern. So you'll have to go a little bit around to get to it. But yeah, there is a bit of a crowd out there and close to the temple. And there is indeed the Raven Sister and Lady Norinda. The Raven Sister is dressed with some kind of crown made out of looks like vines plus stag horns that she's woven together, or someone has. And Lady Narendra is standing with, well, she's pretty much dressed with the same clothes that she usually wears. Sturdy work clothes. They're this is not a noble woman who would be afraid to get her hands or her feet or knees dirty. She's dressed the part with very high boots that can take a lot of a beating in mud and potentially blood, who knows, and with dark tunic made out of sturdy but very, very well crafted wool, and her cloak, gray one with nice fur lining that separates her from most of the others here in terms of just the quality of clothing. But definitely a warrior woman in terms of how she's moving. And yeah, she can handle that sword at her side. That Frida would think.
Is this our first look at Lady Lorinda?
You might have seen her in the distance before. She hasn't introduced herself necessarily. I think she did talk to you when you just arrived and said that she thanked you for handling the slavers, right?
Okay.
Yep.
And it seems like, in fact, that the guard might have been misinformed, because it's not one of Ohro's companions standing there. It is, in fact, one of the slavers.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's different then.
I will whisper to Marita while we're standing here, though.
Yep.
And do you think you can tell if there's any magic coming off of her without notifying her about it?
Well, I don't know if she can. I don't know if she can tell. If I can tell that there's magic going on.
Well, you could do. This is the tricky bit here. So, you can cast your sense magic. Other spell workers could cast obscure magic.
Wait 1 sec.
Be a pain in the ass. Frida does not.
So,
And how many guards are currently within view?
Oh, and sorcerers and druids can automatically sense whenever someone uses magic within short range.
Yep. Unless they are using obscure magic.
Yep.
Yep.
So, I can't hide me detecting magic. So, if she is a sorcerer or a druid, then she might be able to tell that I'm doing something. And I don't know if we want to tip our hand.
Well,
Yeah,
you can.
Wait, let me rephrase that.
You can use your obscure magic for your sense magic.
Yeah. I don't know if I want her attention focused on me.
No, and that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out if she's cursed or not.
The old man here, who's towards the end of his life anyway, if he draws attention,
But
well, he's had a good run.
But how you could do this, if you want to do a sense magic without her noticing, you can obscure your sense magic, which is just another willpower point.
Yeah, I don't have enough willpower to do both.
Fair enough.
So,
Mike?
And I think obscure magic, I think, is rank 2.
is it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so you need 3 willpower to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But
and
you do have...
And a chance of backlash.
It's a powerful spell, but you could do it, clearly, so...
Yeah, not today.
Not today. But it's easier for Bernard to do than it is for...
I was just trying to find out if she's possibly cursed from this supposed evil tomb that she may or may not have.
It's possible, or maybe she just likes, punishing wrongdoers.
Well, the slaver is one thing.
Is there many guards around?
Yeah, there are some. And certainly around the slaver.
How difficult is it to get to the front?
Oh, that shouldn't be too hard. You can just use your elbows a bit and move yourself through the crowd of farmers and fishermen.
So
Frida just wades through. I'm assuming they'll make it pass.
Exactly. Yeah, no one is going to mess with Frida. That's that.
So, I'm going to take Green Walker and move a little bit away from the party. Far enough that's considered short distance. And then make my way to the front, so me and Green Walker's both kind of watching this together.
Yep. Shoot.
And I'm not going to bother obscuring it. I'm going to detect
Okay.
from a distance, so then I don't have to use the 2 willpower, and I know Green Walker's a druid because it was mentioned earlier, so worst case scenario, sorry Green Walker.
Right. So basically, Lady Norinda, you're all, in fact, they're trying to invite you to the temple as best as they can, but there's a bit too many people to fit into the temple, so they're having the gates to the temple wide open and doing this ritual just inside of the threshold of the temple, if you will. And the slaver is brought up there in chains, looking terrified, but also absolutely exhausted from maybe not having gotten enough food and drink over the last little while. It's been a few days, after all. And just brought down to his knees roughly by the guards. We shall not have Rust Brother filth in this area. They will not gain any of us to their nefarious deeds, says Lady Narendra. Let all who travel these lands, know what we do with slavers, she says. And then she pulls out her sword, and they just bend down the man. And meanwhile, you can see that behind stands the Raven Sister, and she's invoking the gods for their blessing over this deed. And Lady Narendra continues and speaks of justice and how it needs to be meted out. And being a woman who is ready to do the deed herself, she swings the sword and lets it come down in one fell strike. And his head comes off. And the blood just gushes out over the floor in torrents from the arterial flow across the floor.
Rita looks appreciative and maybe a little bit a little wild at the moment.
I'll somebody that's near me in the crowd, I'll say, "Is this just for slavers, or because I thought they were punishing a thief?" So when somebody steals,
it's for those filthy slavers now.
So what would have been what punishment did I miss for a thief then? Because I was kind of hoping to see that.
Oh, I think they'll take their hands, I think.
Oh, just their hands.
Aye. Hey, just common thieves, right? Though, I would say not entirely common thieves, are they? Because I think they're from elsewhere.
Brainard steps a little bit back when he sees this going on.
Yeah, it's just when we're on our way here, the guards was like, they're going to punish some thieves. And I was like, oh, that I'm, eager to see. But I was not expecting this. It's all a bit intense.
Well, filthy slavers coming here trying to steal our people?
Oh, no, I understand that. I mean, I'm one of the people that helped arrest these slavers.
And good on you, young lady. I don't know. It's probably an old man she's talking to. I'm just...
Yeah. So not all the punishments are like capital offenses. It's not one of those towns.
Well, come to think of it, if an outsider comes here to steal, maybe that should be a proper way to keep them on the straight and narrow, as it were.
That's true. That's a very good
point. It's an outsider, I mean. There are many vile folk outside these walls, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yes, without a doubt, there are many. All right, and then I'll just kind of, edge my way away from him. Creepy old man.
Yeah, Brainard basically grabs Greenwalker and starts bringing him to the back of the group that's watching all this.
Yeah, Greenwalker might have done the same thing, and looks absolutely pale as he's walked. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Huh.
We might want to talk about that.
Somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And he continues to go through the crowd towards the back of it, waiting for the rest of his companions.
Yep. Yep, Green Walker agrees completely.
Frida is just, she looks completely dazed, like lost in her own mind. You're like, she's right at the front and just still kind of staring at the bloody body.
So I come alongside Frida and just kind of like, gently kind of do the whole nudge thing. It's like, hey, you okay there? Like upset.
That was definitely not a thief.
No, it wasn't. How about we back up a little bit towards the back? Yeah, maybe you need a timeout, a little break.
I should probably not be so near to all of this blood.
Yeah.
She will back up.
So I try to escort Frida gently back towards Braynar, and actually I'm not sure. Because I don't think.
I'll be meeting up with them towards the back.
Okay.
Kind of nudged out of it, she'll come away. But
well, that was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, almost a little too sacrificial.
That was more than a public execution.
Well, according to one of the guys that I talked to, apparently, if you're a thief, they might just cut off your hands. But if you're an outsider who has come to town to steal, then it could be a lot like that. So
I've been in towns that dealt with outsiders that way. That's not just a public execution. Frida looks like she's having some flashbacks.
It's true that most towns tend to have like hangings and things like that. Yeah.
I just want to put it out there that, heading towards the northern coast, still on the table. I mean, you guys know that you're not actually compelled to do anything, right?
Green Walkers
honor bound by little blue goblins.
But
yeah.
We cannot turn a blind eye to this. Green Walker seems absolutely shaken. Hands are shaking a bit too.
I'm more than willing.
This is feeling a little too close to home. I don't like it.
Green Walker, I don't think this is the best spot to talk about what we just seen.
Of course. Sorry. Looks around himself.
Let's go see if we can find someplace private to discuss.
See if we can get a room at the tavern or something.
It doesn't really have private rooms at the tavern. I guess
could possibly walk back towards the dwarf encampment.
That might be it. As you're kind of preferring what you might want to do,
good idea.
You will recognize a familiar halfling lady coming up to you. There you are.
Oh.
Hey, Rosalind.
How have your expedition fared?
We were successful on returning some stolen gold and blue trinkets.
Oh, I see. Yes. You have something slightly blue over your eyebrow there?
Long story.
Yes. Well,
there was naked goblins, and well, we'll leave it at that.
Yes. Let's leave it at that. She says, and she has a little bit of a blush on her rosy cheeks. Anyway, I've been trying to make progress with Lady Narinda here, but she's very stubborn. I'm not terribly pleased with the situation, to be frank.
The taxes?
Yes. Yeah, Brogar mentions also something similar, and he pleads to see if pleads to see if there's anything that we can do to convince her otherwise on some of these taxes. Maybe if we can make meeting with her directly, we might be able to convince her otherwise.
I would be most willing to let you try. Maybe she will respond better to someone other than me. I don't know if I said something wrong, but I tried my best. I usually am very good at designing contracts and such like, but in this case, even my gifts seem to be insufficient. But I will definitely be very happy for any assistance on that accord. But otherwise, this seems the most peaceful place. I'm very pleased to see that they have swift justice. That will be excellent for future, for the future trade route, basically. Yes, as we can guarantee that our wares will be able to traverse these lands without interference from rogues or bandits or slavers. So that is at least something that I have to say that I appreciate.
Well, they are efficient, that's for sure.
Indeed. It's important. Very well. I'll leave you to it. I was just happy to see you again. And certainly if we could sit down and negotiate with Lady Narendra together at some point, I would be happy to accompany you on that.
Is that something that you could arrange, or is that something that it would be better for us to try to arrange?
I could arrange it for certain.
Yeah, you could do that. That'd be fantastic.
I'll try again, yes.
I'd be happy to accompany you.
Very good. It'll settle then. I'm not sure that I'll be able to grab her tonight, though. We'll see.
Okay.
We've had a busy day, so we're just gonna make our way back to the dwarf camp and maybe spend some time relaxing with Darren. But we'll see you maybe tomorrow.
Indeed. She will curtsy very nicely. Her manners are impeccable, Fidan will appreciate. And then leave you to it.
Okay. So yeah, if we get caught breaking into the tower, that's what's in store for us.
Right. Yeah, not a small thing.
So I'm assuming at this point we're walking back to the encampment, 10 minutes to ourselves and relatively alone.
Yeah, exactly. Okro and Greenwalker will be with you, mostly because they don't have anywhere else to be, and Greenwalker definitely wants to discuss this in depth with you.
So, before we meet the encampment, there was something underneath the floorboards where he was beheaded.
Greenwalker is nodding.
And I don't mean straw. There was some type of demonic magic or seal underneath that was actually absorbing the blood.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the thing, and that's probably why they just go, no pun intended, straight for the head. So there is an evil in the city that needs to be vanquished.
Greenwalker is just nodding intensely. Listen to Master Brennar. He's quite right.
You guys use the word need a lot.
Should?
How about could? Could is good. We could deal with this. I mean, bear in mind, I don't want to go wandering in the woods by myself, so...
Have to, says Greenwalker. Have to.
I think we need to figure this one out. There's obviously something going on here, and something that like this that could then pollute the land further around it if it's not stopped.
True.
Maybe.
I'm assuming it's probably linked to this tomb.
Given Frida's background with sacrifice, would she have noticed anything? Obviously not the magical seal, but in the bearing and weapon that was used and the way like Lady Lorinda moved.
Oh, was that a question to me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Again, sorry. I sort of lost my thread there.
I said, given Frida's background with sacrifice, would I have noticed anything about Lady Lorinda's bearing or the weapon or any specific movements?
The sacrifices in Wolfkin culture are very different, much more animalistic, rip and tear, ritual hunting. So this type of very ordered, and the prey doesn't even have a chance to escape, if you will. Even though, I mean, the whole point in the Wolfkin ritual is also that the prey doesn't escape, but that's often because you have the scent and so on.
Yeah.
And some prey might be able to escape in your... So there's those very...
So this is just much more neater than what Frida's used to.
Yeah. And certainly not the way to honor Heem, or Rust the way that your people would. That you would call them differently. Those are the gods that the Wolfkin worship.
Okay.
So blood sacrifice, yes, you use them, but you would do it in a different fashion.
Okay.
It's possible if we can get back here at night, we might be able to get a better look at that sigil, and maybe we might be able to identify what sort of demonic thing it is.
So this is a sigil, and not like an entity, not something that's alive, like a creature or something, right? Or
Correct, based off what I can tell. And Greenwalker, you can speak up otherwise.
I'm not sure what reading I had. There was definitely a demonic or such-like presence, and I'm not sure if it was the sigil or if it was even an entity. I couldn't place that. But
so is she summoning something or is she feeding something?
That's the question. I'm leaning more
towards something. We've probably got some time. If she's feeding something, probably less so.
I would think more towards the latter than the former, perhaps. I don't think she was working any magic. I think it was under the floorboards.
Well, it's awesome.
And under the floorboard. Now that's down. That's in the keep. So there's a basement.
Temple.
Oh, there's a temple. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a different building than the actual keep. Yeah.
Right.
So, Greenwalker, please explain to me. I know that you kind of came in around the same time we did, but have you been anywhere within the temple outside of the main hall?
No. Well, I went into the main hall to pay my respects to Raven, of course. But
I know what you're thinking, Bernard.
Say again?
Lady Lorinda might not be the problem. It might be the Raven sister.
Now, let's not paint everybody with the same brush.
I'm not. But if that's where the demon sigil is, it might not have been Lady Lorinda that put it there. If the Raven sisters have a good hand in the government, they may be influencing things, and it might have been there before Lady Lorinda stepped up to do the sacrifice itself. We should find out if all of the public executions happen at the temple.
Says Greenwalker, that a Raven sister would be worshipping demons? That is sacrilege of the highest order. It has to be Lady Nerinda, certainly, because Raven sisters, they're sworn to Raven.
Okay, so if we go into the temple, sneak into the temple to take a look around, if they're not up to anything, they shouldn't punish us severely. They shouldn't have anything to hide.
And technically, Greenwalker, you're part of the Raven Sisters, so you just could be doing an after-hours tour for us, correct?
I'm not part of the Raven Sisters as such. We share... We're I consider them allies, if you will. I haven't heard of Raven Sisters accepting men into their order, and they tend to be humans, not
Hey, Marita, weren't the Raven Sisters trying to recruit you?
Yes, but unlike these two, I'm not joining a cult.
I'm not saying to join a cult. I'm saying get a tour.
Well, yeah.
Regardless, I'm sure there's not many guards that's monitoring a temple at night in comparison to a tower where they keep people and, you know.
If they've got a big bad demon book, there might be.
Well,
I can deal with demons.
if we
Can?
Yeah, exactly. You can? Green Walker is on the wall. You can?
Yeah, we never got to that part. Yeah, we're okay. Like I said, just I'd rather
The gods
I'd rather
have put
figure
you
out
here
if
for a reason then, clearly.
clearly.
I'm old and alive for a reason.
Do demons bleed? Like, can I eat them?
Depends
I wouldn't recommend
on
it. They
the
taste worse than
demon.
goblin.
So,
Some extra tomatoes then.
so we're gonna try and sneak into the temple. We're gonna do that tonight.
Sooner is probably better than later.
Yeah.
Are we back at the dwarf encampment yet?
Yeah, you would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I want to do is I want to grab a tankard of ale to bring with me. 'Cause if we do get caught, I'm gonna go for the hey. I'm just trying to find somewhere to have a beer performance, just in case. It may work, it may not, but I'm thinking ahead.
Great planning. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm just staggering around, pretending to be drunk. So I am gonna do that. I'm gonna grab a tankard full of ale. Take it with me.
Of course, Bodgar will receive you happily as you're coming back. And, welcome back. Of course, our camp is your camp. By now, the Dwarven guards are getting used to these strangers coming and going.
Actually, do we have? Did you guys stay with them the night before, or did you stay? You did. So we do. Have
Yeah,
a
we
place
did.
to stay. Okay, so we could stay with them again too.
You can.
Excellent. Okay.
So do we want to go to the place with the thing this evening?
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to start moving on this sooner rather than later.
Marita
Well-
sounds so convinced.
Well, the sooner the bad thing is either dealt with or kills you all, the sooner I can move on. So, I mean,
enough.
just so everybody's aware, if all of you die, I am leaving.
I'll be dead. It's okay. I'll be with Huge. It's fine.
Nothing less.
So,
Just burn my body before you go.
no. It's going to be like, oh my god, Frida died, and then I will be out the door and down the street before you hit the ground. So, in the meantime, though, I assume that we have some time until nightfall.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, as Okra has been around you when you're discussing these things, I can help, maybe? I have some skill with keeping watch and getting into places that are locked.
Excellent.
I'm good with that.
Also staying hidden.
And do we know much about the temple? Like, do we need to go do a little reconnaissance to find out if there's a way in that doesn't involve just like walking in the front door? Or is it open 24 hours? Is it like that? I'm not sure.
You wouldn't know because you haven't checked it at night so far.
Worst case, we'll improvise.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to take some of the herbs that I purchased, oddly enough, from the temple. And I am going to see if I can't brew up a sleeping poison.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Preferably, if I can, something that I can kind of cook down into, like, maybe like a powder that I could like blow in somebody's face for them to inhale or something, if that's possible. I don't know how exactly poisons are applied.
I'm not sure that it says that clearly. Concoct poisons increased by 1 for every 6 you roll after the first. I'm going to say that I'm going to allow you to pick your vector, if you will, and then we stick to that. So for that particular potion, so each potion will have its specific vector. Some can be a paste, some can be a pulver, some can be something you drink.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So I would like to get it into some sort of like numbing powder or something similar.
Great. Let's do that. That would be crafting then.
Yes.
Do you have all the requisite gear and such?
Yeah, I picked up some herbs and stuff, and I assume that there's like a small kitchen cauldron or something I can borrow.
Yeah, there should be. 186. You need a cauldron. And a fire, and obviously you will find these at the Dwarven encampment, so that shouldn't be too hard.
Okay.
Let's see the roll, and that's a success. You now have a basic potion.
Okay. I'm actually going to try to push that. I want it to be a little bit stronger.
Certainly allowed to do that.
Ooh. Apparently I sampled some.
Yes, because it does hit your strength, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's ready. Oh.
So that means, if I'm reading this correctly, so because in the equipment list it says potion has a potency level of 3. So if I'm understanding it correctly, if you had an extra 6, that would be like potency 4 then, I suppose?
That's the way it reads to me, because it says it's +1 potency.
Exactly. So let's put it at 3 at this point. And, I mean, yeah, that was your pushed roll. So that's it. And then you'll need to have a proper rest to recuperate that. But on the other hand, you have a willpower point.
Yep. Let me just add this under gear.
That adrenaline that hits you when you're feeling the effect of the poison after sampling it at just the wrong time.
Okay.
Anyone else have... Because this will take like a quarter day for you to concoct, which means that you're going to be deep in the night when you're done. So for the rest of the group, it would be an excellent time to use the quarter day to basically rest and regain any hurts along one of your damage tracks. Do you have any blemishes at this point? I can't even remember.
No, I do.
Yes, indeed.
So
I'm going to regain my wits.
Also taken some... Exactly. So, there we go, yeah. Fidan, you did take some damage somewhere?
Yep, I did. I had taken it to empathy earlier.
Okay, so you can take that away then.
Yep.
You didn't take any damage in wits or whatever, no?
Nope.
Okay. And
I damaged my
Frida
empathy when I was
think,
dealing with
fully
the...
healed, so-
Okay.
Great, so you're using... this time to just rest and recuperate and relax a bit before the evening's interesting exercise in potential sneaking. Ochra will look with fascination on Marita's exercises. though he has nothing much to contribute with on that front.
I will explain, though. I'll be like, this one makes people sleepy. This one makes people see fancy colors. This one makes them sleep for a really, 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 really long time.
We should have used some of those, he says.
So, well, next time I brew up a batch, feel free to stop in and I'll show you what I know.
Huh, that sounds good to me. Well, if you need someone to go ahead and, well, look at the place from a hidden location, I can help you with that.
I think that would actually be an excellent idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, even though like I'm resting, I mean, does like ambling about, consist of resting, or is resting, kind of relaxing in a camp chair kind of thing?
As long as you're not doing anything strenuous, that is to say, skill rolls.
Okay.
You can do, you can loiter about or hang in a hammock or just chat with other people. You don't have to sleep explicitly, though you do have to devote 1 quarter day to that every 24 hours. But you don't have to do that yet. You're not going to suffer from sleeplessness yet.
Okay.
So you've been up since the first quarter day, and the afternoon was the second, and now in the evening is the third. So then it's the night, which you're going to be out and doing things which means that you might, after that, you're probably going to be tired, and so you're going to need to sleep after your nightly adventure, or you will end up tired. But yes, Ochra will thus sneak for you as best as he can.
Perfect. Get the lay of the land, find out what we need to know.
Exactly.
Hidden doors, or unguarded back doors, and that kind of thing.
There we go. That's his sneak roll.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Nice.
That worked out well. When
He's so much sneakier than us.
He is quiet. So he basically just sort of walks down towards, and by now he's been coming and going. He's the guy in rags, and the guards aren't even paying attention to him. So he'll be out and doing the stakeout while the rest of you are resting up. And he's going to meet you again in the night and tell you what he knows about the place. Right, so did we want to do that scene as well? We have another 20 minutes or so we might be able to do a little bit at least in the night here. All right.
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Yep. Now they typically do tend to close the gates, but who knows if Ochro might be able to get you inside, because it's nighttime, and they talk a lot about both goblins and saurians, so they do close the gates at night, and you can see them when you're resting in the dwarven camp. You can see how all those farmers are herding their cows and sheep, and they are making all the sounds of cows and sheep that are being herded through a narrow gate to get them in to be safe from potentially marauding goblins or saurians. That makes a lot of noise in the evening. It did make a lot of noise in the morning too when you heard them bring their cattle out. But they clearly prefer to keep those cattle indoors at night and inside the palisades. So they will be closed, but Ochra might be able to, with that stealth roll, I'll even allow you to have like a rope that you could climb up across the palisade to get inside.
Perfect. I like that.
Yep, that works.
And this is all four of you, I take it, Frida included.
Yeah, she'll be back in like a few moments here.
Yeah. Thanks to his excellent stealth roll, I'm going to say that he'll be able to pick the right spot along the palisade at the right moment and just, get that rope across when the patrols are somewhere else. And he's sending you the signal that this is the place where you can see the rope just coming down there as you're waiting for the signal, which that's the signal, clearly. So I'm going to need a move roll for you to get across. But since you do have that rope there, you get a bonus on that. So a rope typically does give you, it's a grappling hook and a rope that gives you +2 altogether in gear bonus. Eek. Fidan gets across easily enough.
Oddly enough.
I'll push.
My heart's not really in this, guys. I'm just gonna take a breather here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that didn't work out at all.
If I push this roll, I'm going to break something.
Yep. That's not a good idea. Don't break something is a good piece of advice very often.
Yep.
Particularly now, perhaps. Should I roll for Frida? I think Jess is busy with something for the moment.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Joshua's going to go around and do it for her.
Oh, he's doing it. There we go.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, she gets across without problem.
And since I failed mine, I'm going to push mine. Just 1 sec.
Yep.
Since I didn't technically break the gear. So. Oh, to get across the...
To climb the rope that Orho left for us.
Yeah, we're making our move into the temple.
Yeah.
You succeeded.
Okay, cool. Sorry, tiny humans.
Yes.
Nope, understood.
Nope. That's too bad, Brennar. You hurt yourself as you're trying to climb across. I'm going to say that you slip down again and you sprain your ankle as you come down.
Can I take a might check to grab him
You can do that.
as he's falling?
Okay. She grabs you by the cuff and just drags you up across. And you
So
get
instead
over
of
there.
spraining his ankle, he might have some claw marks on his arms.
Exactly. Maybe that's actually the hurt, that there's some claw marks on his neck that draws a little bit of blood. Stings like... Ochra is kind of looking at you, and now you can tell that he's pulled down that cloth over his mouth. He's taken a little mud to cover his face, and you can see the big fangs now. He's looking at you a bit alarmed over the potential noise Brennar made as he crashed, almost slipped down and crashed and then back up again. But since...
No accounting for the old man.
I'm going to see if I can find another way.
Yeah, that kind of alarm there, that was a bit too much noise, so you should probably just roll up the rope and get out of there before the guards come. But once you're inside of the palisade, you've been in this town before, so they have no real reason to suspect you of foul play just because you're walking between the houses, right? So it's all, the only thing is that particular palisade.
I'm gonna make my way to the gate and see if I can't talk my way in.
You probably can. You're getting to the gate, and the gatekeepers. So there's obviously someone there, and right as you get there, there's someone going, "Who goes there?"
It's me, Marita. I accidentally stayed too long at the dwarf encampment, but I'm staying at the tavern, and how do I get in?
Oh, well, we'll concede to that easily enough. And they do, in fact, let you in.
Thank you. I'll ask the guard what his name is, and I will put in a good word whenever I see anybody that looks important to let them know what a fine job you're doing here.
How much reputation do you have? You don't have much, do you? No.
I have none.
You have none. Yeah. Okay. Eventually, you'll probably get some, but I think because you did the thing with the slavers, you still have a bit of a name and a face that people recognize you.
Okay.
So that could help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you will get in, but later, because it takes a while for you to walk around. And meanwhile, the rest of you are now inside and heading up towards the temple. And Orho will say that I've been watching. They haven't seen me, and I don't think there are guards, but they did close the gates to the temple, so we will need to be careful, because otherwise, I think it will be easy for them to see. The gates are, well, very much in view. I can help you, though. We need a lookout, and I can work the doors.
I'll be the lookout. Is that? Yeah.
Whomever is the highest scouting, probably.
Oh, scouting. Oh, right. Yep. Yeah, no, that's not me.
That's me, but...
Yeah.
I got a 4. That's about it.
I've got a 3.
Frida scouting is...
Yeah. What's Frida's 2?
So,
really?
Brenner. Well,
Brenner.
I haven't rolled for Green Walker. Should you be in this expedition too?
I am like, lift it up, put it down.
Yeah, I'd assume Green Walker would be coming with us so we can prove that.
You're right. I'll make his move roll. See if he can get across. Almost forgot about him, didn't I? Yep, he does nicely as well. So he's with you. I think he's gonna. I'm wondering if he can use his... Green Walker's going to say like this. I can help you with listening to the inside of the house very carefully. And he brings out from his satchel a conch that he can use to listen in on what's going on inside the house from afar. Do you want him to do that?
Sure.
It's not a terribly difficult spell. Words on the wind. So... yeah. How does that work? There we go. Ooh, it's supercharged. That goes very well for him. He's bringing up the conch and reading the magic words around it, and then listening to it carefully. Sleeping inside. Nothing else. It seems clear enough.
Excellent.
And so you make your final approach to the temple gates. And since it's now 10 to 11, I think that might be an excellent place to round off the session for tonight before, monsters eat you or something. Because you never know what might be inside the gates and whatnot.
There's never anything unspeakably evil in a temple with a demonic seal.
Never.
Exactly.
No,
No,
of
not
course
at all.
not.
What's the
That's
worst
what
that
I
can
No,
found today.
and certainly no tentacles or anything of the sort.
Of course not.
Also, no giant maws that will try to eat you and drag you to nether worlds and strange dimensions or anything of the sort.
Never.
Me having done extensive Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green GMing will not come through in any way, shape, or form.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with a few tentacles.
Just some sanity, yeah, exactly. All I want for Christmas is my sanity. Yeah, it's the best Christmas songs are the ones about Cthulhu. That we know that,
Oh, yeah.
don't we? Yes, they are. So yes, indeed, that was.
Shoggoths.
Say again.
I said I have a kid's Christmas book for my kids about Shoggoths.
There you go.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
and I will say that some of the best Cthulhu songs are the ones that get the proper text to the ABBA songs. The stars are right, Cthulhu. Anyhow, I will say thank you so much to everyone who has been watching. It's been a joy. That was the third session of this campaign, and we will return in 2 weeks to see what these intrepid rogues and raiders in the cursed world might discover inside the Temple of the Raven Sister, this ostensibly holy place. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, this is gonna go so poorly for us.
Hey, I got willpower.
Oh wait, for you guys that are at the temple.
Yeah, you're not even anywhere near us.
That's
You
right.
just completely pretend you had nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I'm not there, how am I gonna know to run away when you all die?
Exactly.
You'll hear the screams,
You'll hear
right?
the wolfish howls.
That's true.
The big blue light and half the town disappears. Just take off.
That's right. If it looks like the ending to a DC movie, it's time to leave.
Oh,
Blue sky beam.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
Good night,
exactly.
folks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
thank
Okay.
you.
Good night.
Bye, guys.